There's a question also that was asked, and this basic income we are suggesting here is to enable each Kenyan to be able to sustain themselves, in that if you are disabled, you don't have the capacity to work, my friend. You also are supposed to live. You have a right. You're a Kenyan.
That is more of a reason why we should not have the UBI. We should concentrate on lowering the taxes so that we can increase the investments. We need investments. We do not need lazy citizens.
Bishop Margaret Wanjiru of Jesus is Alive Ministry invites you every Tuesday at 10 p.m. for spiritual uplifting messages in The Glory is Here. Join Bishop Margaret Wanjiru as she ministers the Word of God. You cannot afford to miss it.
Joining us for this edition of Channel 1 Lunchtime News, my name is Edward Kabasa. Our sign language interpreter is Steve Mdunde. You can interact with us. The number is 22162. It is our SMS line. Do indicate your name and where you are watching is from. This is in relation to the stories that we have prepared for you. A lot is happening across the country. You can also tweet us at KBC Channel 1. The High Court has granted bail to NYS suspects accused of defaming government of 468 million shillings after spending 2 weeks in remand. Judge Hedwig Ongundi ordered that the suspects be released on a 5 million shillings bond or a cash bail of 1 million shillings. They will also be required to deposit their travel documents with the court and report to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations once a week.
With 2 weeks on the cold floors at different prisons in Nairobi, it was music to the ears for the over 40 suspects when the High Court ordered their release on bond or cash bail. Two businessmen facing charges of defrauding the NYS had 2 weeks ago challenged the decision by Chief Magistrate Douglas Ogoti to deny them bail. They argued that by refusing to grant them bail, the court had passed a guilty verdict on them. And today, all the 44 suspects, who include Youth Affairs PS Lillian Omolo and NYS Director General Richard Dubai, will all be free, albeit with some conditions. High Court Judge Hedwig Ongundi granted bail to the suspects, ordering their release on a 5 million shillings bond or a 1 million shillings cash bail. They will also be required to deposit a surety of 2 million shillings each.
Even as I grant bail, I'm alive to the seriousness of the charges the applicants and co-accused are facing. I also note that the total number of the applicants and co-accused is about 41, and they range from senior government officers to junior officers in the ministry and various departments. All these factors must be taken into account so that the terms and conditions of the bail bond cut across the spectrum.
In what could be a move to allay fears that the courts are lenient on the suspects, Ongundi ordered that they deposit all their travel documents in the court, meaning that none of them can travel out of the country. They will also be required to report to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations offices once a week.
They should not go to their former offices unless accompanied by a police officer. They should not make contact, whether directly or otherwise, howsoever, with any of the staff and or witnesses to be called by the prosecution.
John Jacob Curia for the Lunchtime News.
It has been an outpouring of grief following the death of Migori County Senator Ben Oluocho-Kello. Kello passed on earlier today after a long battle with cancer.
Residents of Migori County are mourning the loss of their Senator Ben Oluocho-Kello, who passed on early this morning at the MP Shah Hospital after a long battle with throat cancer. Grief and shock greeting news of his death this morning in Migori, with many eulogizing the late senator in the many ways that he impacted their lives.
The late Senator Ben Oluocho-Kello has been my father. Actually, he has helped me do a lot especially in education and others.
We are saddened by the untimely death of our lovely senator. To us, he was a very lovely dad. He was supportive in everything. He was really focused on our education. He was focused that we have a well-being. He was focused that we see a development.
He helped the Luo Nation during the interpretation of the 2010 Constitution. Ben brought Gor Mahia to where it is today. Ben has been a peace-loving person, and even during the times of post-election violence, he was in the forefront, preaching peace, using the radio. We also saw that during his campaigns, there were any incidents of violence.
A host of prominent leaders, chief among them President Kenyatta, have since sent in their messages of condolence to the family, friends and constituents, with further messages streaming in on social media.
Let us be united in the funeral arrangements. Let us all be together the way he had everybody under his umbrella. He had no political divide, and this is what we expect Ben to be. When he's dead, he will bless us, God will bless us, and the whole county is united in the name of Ben Oluoch Okello.
The senator, who is said to have been ailing for a long period, managed to keep in touch with his constituents by sending representatives to public meetings, even as he sought treatment for his illnesses. His body is resting at the Lee Funeral Home as burial plans begin in earnest.
And indeed, it is also important to mention that those who grew up listening to Ben Oluoch Okello, like I did, will really miss him. Public Service Cabinet Secretary Margaret Kobia has reiterated the government's resolve to continue investing in youth and women in an effort to uplift their livelihoods. Speaking in Chuka town during the opening of Huduma Center branch, Kobia said women and youth are a critical component of national development. Speaking at the same event, Tharaka-Nithi County Governor Muthomi Njuki promised to work closely with the national government in empowering vulnerable groups.
Tunaenda tu tukipelekea wakina mama, wakina youth pesa ndio wajisaidie. Wakati mama akiwa na pesa, kila mtu ni nyumba hiyo, mtoto, mzee, mtoto wa kike, mtoto wa kiume, wote watakuwa.
Waweke pesa ya vikundi katika budget, ikuwe invest, na hiyo pesa ipatiwe vikundi, na itawezekana kama watu kwa wametengeneza sheria ambayo itatumika kugai hiyo pesa itapewa na gani. But as your governor, I will ensure it is done, ili mkipata kidogo hapa kwa national, pia mtapata kidogo hapa county.
Another
And to other matters we're also following for you this afternoon. Property of unknown value was razed after fire broke out at one of the main stores at the Kenya Meat Commission Athi River plant. Officers from Athi River Police Station have launched investigations into the inferno that is suspected to have been caused by an electrical fault.
Kenya Meat Commission Athi River plant. And a major store consumed by flames. The fire brought operations to a halt at the government meat processor for several hours. The fire is suspected to have been caused by an electric fault. It took firefighters from both the Mavoko substation and Kajiado County more than 3 hours to contain the inferno, saving 2 other major stores.
We had an incident where one of our stores caught fire. As of now, we are not yet sure of what was exactly the cause of the fire, but we reported the matter to the police, and they have started investigations to establish the real cause of the fire.
KMC Secretary Ann Kamau says that the unfortunate fire destroyed expensive corned beef packaging materials and some attic machines.
We also reported to the county assembly and the county governments both in Machakos and Kajiado, and we want to appreciate and record our appreciation for the rapid response. The fire was managed within a very good time before it had destroyed much of our properties.
The fire incident comes at a time when the plant is undergoing digitization to boost production. KMC is the biggest meat processor in the country.
Police in Mwatate sub-county are holding 26 suspects in connection with the sale and distribution of illicit brew. Over 290 liters of illicit brew was confiscated from the suspects as the crackdown on illicit brew intensifies.
In a sting operation, a team led by Mwatate Sub-County Deputy County Commissioner Kenneth Gitonga raided illicit brew dens in the area.
Ile sehemu ambayo hii kazi imefanyika ambayo ni sehemu ambayo inaitwa Mkuki. Hiyo ni sehemu ambayo inapakana na zile sehemu ambazo zinafanywa mining hapa Mwatate. Hiyo town ndogo ya Mkuki imekuwa ikitumiwa kama mahali pa kustore ile pombe haramu.
26 suspects, among them women with children on their backs, were arrested during the operation, with over 290 liters of illicit brews confiscated.
We are telling them to take advantage of the various funds that are available. If at all they can come together and form groups, they can use these groups, to try and source for funds either from the youth fund, kwa sababu tuna vijana wengi sana ambao wako pale wanahusika kwenye hayo mambo.
Murungi says that the area is notorious for making illicit brews, adding that the crackdown will continue until the region is rid of the ban of illicit brews.
Si kwamba ile kazi ambayo tumefanya leo asubuhi ni ya leo tu, ni kazi ambayo tumekuwa tukifanya kwa muda wa miezi 4 ama 5 sasa.
Those who were arrested are being held at the Mwatate police station and are expected in court to answer to the charges of operating illegal breweries.
A group of 500 widows from Kajiado County have benefited from a water project that seeks to transform their economic fortunes. The women from Narumoru village will now have access to clean and safe water for drinking, as well as subsistence irrigation, after 4 million shillings borehole was sunk by well-wishers.
It was a sigh of relief for about 500 women from Narumoru village in Kajiado County who have had to travel for long distances in search of clean and safe water.
Na tulikuwa tunateseka sana kwa sababu ukitoka asubuhi mahali unaenda kazi ni mbali. Inakubidi uamke mapema ndio uende maji university. Mtungi tulikuwa tunauziwa shilingi 5 na ukikomboa punda unalipa 250.
Hangaika hata wazazi wengine unasikia kwa sababu ya maji. Tulikuwa tukiendea huko juu ya mlima, saa zingine kama una pesa ya kulipa hiyo punda unalala hivyo ama unaenda kuomba jirani, kama hauna unakaa hivyo.
But the wait for access to the precious commodity for the widows is now over after a well-wisher came to their aid. A group of well-wishers from the United States of America sunk a borehole for the vulnerable group at a cost of 4 million shillings as they sought to empower them economically. According to Well of Hope Director Zipporah Nat, the borehole will supply clean water to the widows and the neighboring community.
Sasa Mungu ametusaidia tuweze kubadilisha maisha yao zaidi, maana lile ambalo tunahusika nalo ni kubadilisha maisha yao. Kwa hivyo
the project is expected to boost irrigation farming in the area. Irene Mchuma Odim, the Lunchtime News.
To environmental matters, where 10 sacred forests in Kilifi County are on the verge of being deregistered by UNESCO World Heritage Sites owing to wanton destruction of the ecosystems. National Museums of Kenya Director General Dr. Mzalendo Kibunja, who toured projects being implemented in the Arabuko Sokoke forest, decried the rate at which the forest is being depleted, despite a ban on illegal logging imposed in March this year. Let's more Shigadi with that report.
This is Arabuko Sokoke Forest in Kilifi County, 110 kilometers north of Mombasa County. It is the largest existing fragment of tropical forest that covers much of East African coast, an important habitat for endemic and endangered birds, insects and mammal species covering 6 kilometers square. The once lush green ecosystem is now pilfered of itself, courtesy of illegal logging. This is despite government zeal to protect the country's forests. National Museum of Kenya Director